Fantastic. Missing a shield. Just what I always wanted. How can I be missing a shield? Where's my shield? Please be my shield. Will you be my shield? I think you're my shield. Shield, shield, shield. Oh, thank goodness. 'Twas it. Okay, everybody's turned up. Let's see, Lars, Travis, Mr. Dickinson, hey Cormac, thought you were on the road. Hey Robbie Evo, Matthew Fox, hey Pernoff, Mr. Menzies, Tim, just Tim, hey Wyatt Earp. I don't know what this is. This is an old iPad. Like so old, it's got the wide 30-point port. I fixed it up, got the data off it, but now I'm trying to put it back together and I'm realizing that I have no flippin' idea how to put it back together. The main point of contention at this stage is the 3 RF Wi-Fi antennas, and yeah, stuffed if I know how I got them off in the first place. I guess in many ways destroying things by taking them apart is much easier than putting them back together responsibly. I guess I have to try to do it this way, then somehow fold it in using magic. Magic. Hey Passos. Marinus DeVitt, sorry. Hey Wade, Mr. Launceston. How's things down in Launceston today? It's actually fixed. The biggest problem I'm facing now is the fact that numbskull me. Oh geez, and I've even forgotten which. How am I supposed to put this back together? Okay, so you, I guess. Man, this is near impossible. I'm happy to pull these things apart, but getting them back together, no siree, that's not my cup of tea. See if I can do it this way. And it doesn't help that the damn board... Why do they have to put this on the underside of the board, honestly? As you can tell, iPads are not something I normally deal with, and I typically will go well and truly out of my way to not take them on as jobs, because I just do not feel comfortable with them. But I suppose that in itself only makes things worse for me, because it's like, well, Paul, if you don't do them, then you're not going to get the practice, so naturally you're going to feel uncomfortable with them. Little SAB just popped back out again. This thing ended up having a... there's a couple of shorts on board, and it also damaged... no. Yeah, it was just a couple of short circuits on board, and I fixed those up. I can't remember exactly where they were now. Oh man, this is so irritating. How do you people who do these daily not lose your mind, honestly? There is absolutely nothing appealing about this. Yeah, well, I will grant you, better than a Android tablet in most cases, though some of the Samsung ones don't seem to be too bad. Okay, let's see if we can actually get this back down and not blow it to the smithereens. So, I mean, how's that? It's like it doesn't have enough... It's like trying to make a sturdy bridge out of wet spaghetti. I'm sure it's fun at university trying to do that, but... Okay, I think it's in. we get this flex too. And this is a 3G model as well, so it's got the extra stuff for mobile. I think I've got it. Speaking of Mac Minis, yeah, I've got one of those to deal with as well. Okay, let's stick my little battery protector shield under there. This is too big. I know you can get proper sort of sliding cards or something for this, but I have found that just using the back of iPhone retaining plastic is perfectly good for the job. There we go. I think I might have actually got that lined up. Hallelujah. Cormac, I bought them from Element 14 or Farnell. They are pretty damn expensive, I will warn you now. I think those cost about 50, 60 Australian dollars. But I definitely very much like them. They're very useful. I use them a lot on phone shields, things like that, where you just sometimes where you just need that little bit of extra room, and so you can cut away. Definitely has saved my butt. Yeah, unfortunately this one's already been fixed, so it's not actually going to be that much of an interesting stream, other than the fact that you can just watch me squirm, because I really do not like doing this. I'm probably going to miss quite a few screws that I'm meant to put back in, so forgive me. Because it's been so long, I've pretty much forgotten the positions of all of them. So I'm just going along, looking at the various holes that I can see, and filling those holes as they show up to me. I'm going to get dust all on the inside of the display, I bet. Yeah. Oh, there's one under there. How am I supposed to... How did I even get that out? Surely I didn't. Yeah. Sometimes I amaze myself at what I might have achieved in the past without me realizing. No, it's only 9:30 or 21 past 9. It's rather quite early. Actually, that is not the screw I need to put in first. I need to get this one done. Like I said, I'm just not sure how I managed to get this chap out in the first place. Well, nope, that's what I mean. So it's off center. Okay, I think we're good now. We're good. Lucky. Hey, Warren Stamps. Ah, ZX is here. G'day. I mean, as if it's not hellish enough just simply getting into these things, like getting off the screen and things like that. This is where definitely iPads diverge from the otherwise comparatively easy to disassemble Apple products. I say comparatively. I mean, MacBooks definitely take the cake for being easy to disassemble. iPhones, sort of. iMacs, yeah. I don't like the fact that you need to cut through the iMac screen adhesive every time. That really does give me the willy-nillies. the heebie-jeebies. Okay, it seems like that was okay to do. Guess we'll plug this in. Sure hope this works. Let's see. What goes on first? The screen or the screen or the touch? And there's spots on this screen, and I don't have a clean. There's a few spots on there, but I can guarantee you, if I try to wash those off, it'll make it 10 times worse. This was, and yeah, spitting on it doesn't help either. No, I didn't spit on it, but when you blow on it, it does have a tendency to project spittle if you're not careful. I get the feeling I should be putting the touch on first. Yeah, teach the cats to do repairs. Now, wouldn't that be something? I do have other work to do after this, so it's not just going to be Paul putting on iPad screens today. Hey Martin, screen first. Oh, now you tell me? Oh well, too late. I don't even see how that would work, because that would, unless, that would cause a tangle of the flexors, wouldn't it? I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, that would cause the touch glass flex to actually collide or overlap with the LCD flex. Because as it is now, they nest properly like that. Yeah, I think I need to get myself one of those cheap little filtering hoods. They're nothing major. Okay, battery thingamajig. DB DAC done. Battery screw about to go in, and naturally we put the screw in on the screwdriver above the circuitry that we've just saved, so naturally it will have a higher risk of falling in and subsequently shorting out, creating a spectacular end to the stream. And then everybody will applaud and be very happy except me. And I'll have comments like, best stream ever, stuff blew up, awesome, over 9,000, stuff like that. Oh, congratulations on your holidays. Are there any electronics in your home that you can't fix? Oh yeah, pretty much anything that's electrical as opposed to electronic. I won't touch that stuff. There's a lot of tension on this screen. I'm kind of half worried that it's going to snap. Has this got any power in it? Let's have a look. Oh well, it works. I'm just cleaning up the outside screen to give me an idea of just how badly botched the inside screen is. Given that this is a bit of an old one, it's probably going to take a while. Yep, taking its time. Put that aside, bring up the next thing I need to fix. Oh, dude, you really are taking your time. How long does it take for these iPads to usually fire up? Oh, there we go. So it looks like we're good. Turn that off. I guess we'll seal that screen down and send it off and consider it the job end done. The fact that it even works is merely a side bonus. It wasn't really the primary objective of that job, which is a lot of the reason why I ended up taking the job. If it was a case of I want it to be functioning again and used daily, then I probably would have said, yeah, there's going to be dust and crap in it when I'm done with it, so that's a no. Alright. Okay, so the next job. Now you might remember yesterday's stream, I think it was, we noticed on the purchased DCM board, someone did a naughty on it and knocked off two little resistors, or at least we think they're resistors. They could be inductors for all I know. The gecko thinks that was funny. Oh great, now welcome to summer. Sorry, those bugs are very annoying, which is why I just brutally brutalized it. I feel bad about that, but they are very annoying bugs. They come into the light and then they get into your electronics, they jump into your flux. They are not fun things to have flying around, and then they bite you usually. Poop. That flew off somewhere. Is that it over there? That's it. Alright, these are filters. Oh, that's a pain in the butt. It's a pain in the butt because I can't really measure them to know what I need to replace them with. Oh, that sucks. So I was hoping they would be resistors. So I mean, obviously I can take them from another board, say like this, and put them on, but then I don't have another damaged board to do them from. And I certainly don't have an inductance meter, so I can't work out what the... You could theoretically just be really naughty and put a couple of 0 ohm resistors on there, but believe me, it won't work properly, because given that they're paired lines, they could have something to do with USB, and so you'll probably get noise on the line or something like that. Yeah, I'm at a bit of a loss now what I'm going to do with that. No schematics for DCM boards that I'm aware of. If someone knows one, feel free to accidentally drop it by. But whatever whatever that one is, the bottom one will also be the same. Yeah. I'm not sure. I wonder, Pernov, if you can find those older ones. Like I said, given that it's a paired line, a matched pair, it could be USB. It's not a guarantee. I suppose there are ways you could find out just by probing around. And then if it is USB, I can take a guess. But typically I would expect the USB ones to be one of those twin inductor packs rather than two separate inductors. Ah, Mr. Dyer, welcome. What's this? Only 2.5 hours sleep? That's not good for you. 2.5 hours, it's almost like you're back to parenthood again. Definitely no good. No, because people will be saying, why bother even trying to fix this? Well, mostly because while they're comparatively cheap, they're still expensive, these things. Like, it's still $40 odd for me. So if I can manage to fix it up, that would be a saving. But yeah, I just need to... Let's see if I've got a damaged one, although I've probably thrown out my damaged ones. The main reason being is that you really don't want to have damaged DCM boards floating around that you can accidentally pick up, try to use, and then simply make your life harder. But I'll have a look. Okay, I've got one here that's got green crosses on it. No, I don't know whether that means good or bad. So, good one, Paul. Green cross really conveys exactly what's wrong. Lewis has less sleep. Yeah, well, Lewis isn't exactly human either. It looks like I've meddled with this one, and the fact that it's... yeah, I might take from this and this one in this case. But it would have certainly been good to know what the inductor was, what that filter pack is. Like I said, more than likely you can probably get away with some generic high frequency filter. Definitely would have been good to know though. Son of a gun. Something melted. Slightly melted back there. Lewis puts a lot of effort into breaking my software, that's for sure. That is connected, though I would consider that rather marginal. Thank you, Pernov. I see that's come through. So the latest predicament I have now with the house situation is that I've got two options, but they clash with each other in the sense of one is a long-term, the long-term option, and the other is the short-term option, and they clash with each other. Now, short-term option is I build this shed. I got the quote today, and it's $32,500 to produce this shed. This shed is a 9 by 4 meter roughly shed, so Yeah, that's a good 36 square meters. Definitely a very nice area. That'll be split into two. But the expense that, 35, let's call it 35, 36,000 after probably there's going to be other things that come up. That means then that I'll have a loan to pay that takes me probably 3, maybe 4 years to pay off. And in that time I won't be able to save up for a loan of the actual entire house. So yeah, it's a bit of a predicament, because if I sort out my short-term needs, which is to get more room, I sacrifice my long-term goal. And so I'm going to have to sleep on it a bit, see what I can come up with. If I'm lucky, the new Flex Boardview files that should come out with the iPhone boards and all that, maybe there'll be enough interest in that and I'll get a good burst of Flex Boardview sales. And if I do get a good burst of Flex Boardview sales, it might actually get me enough to buy the shed up front, cash in hand, at least within the next 3 months. And that would be good if I could do that. And the nice thing is, it would be a nice cash write-off with the business. Though actually 35,000, my limit on that for an instant write-off is actually 20,000, but maybe some creative accounting can resolve that for me. Let's see, I might just put a little bit of green goo on that. But unfortunately it's a predicament that I'm constantly running into, and I seem to be forever having to cough up 2,000 here, 3,000 there to deal with situations that are happening right now. And then it gets frustrating because people say, why aren't you saving? And it's like, well, there are issues that have to be resolved right now that aren't a matter of personal whims, like, oh, I want a new lounge or something like that. It's not that. It's like, oh, the fridge just died, well, better get a new fridge. Ah, the car just died, better sort out the car. Ah, the air conditioner died in the shed, in the building, so we've got to fix that up. Yeah, so it's stuff that isn't really a whim purchase. I mean, okay, some could debate something like a $2,000 air conditioner could be excessive, but I invite you, or those who say that, to come and live here in summer and see how you go. And you'll find that it's pretty much a necessity. I mean, health-wise alone, it makes a huge difference. So I built a shed for my HA layout, 8x5, lined AC for 12k. I think the problem we've got up here, I mean, that's a good price mark, and that's sort of what I was hoping. The problem we have up here is that we've got to have the cyclone rated stuff, and when you do cyclone rated sheds, all of a sudden the price pretty much doubles straight up out of the door. Okay, I'm just going to put this under the UV cure now, so that should sort that out. There we go. Wait for that for a couple of minutes. What do you use to cure the UV? I've got just a little gooseneck LED. I'll show it in a bit. A little gooseneck LED lamp that powers off USB. It's not the most powerful, but it does a good enough job. I think certainly the UV lasers are probably a far better way of doing it. Trouble with them is they're maybe a little dangerous for people like me. Cyclone rated, typhoon rated, that sort of thing. Basically, it has to handle around about, I think we have to be rated for 38 or 39 meters per second wind rating. And there are certain pressure differential ratings that you have to handle, like I think plus 0.65 to minus 0.7 or something like that. So that adds a lot to the actual structural cost. Where are you based? I'm on the Gold Coast and we have cyclone rating council approval. I'm about 1,400 kilometers north of you guys. If you know Townsville, we're inland from Townsville by about 100 kilometres. It's a little bit of a stab because we are inland and we are at an elevated position. We're about 350 metres above sea level. There's a natural ridge between us and the coast. So when cyclones do reach us, they have usually sort of died down for around about the 150 kilometre an hour, with maybe 200 kilometre an hour gusts at the worst. But for the most part, the cyclones are very subdued by the time we get here. Creatus, yes, Australia is very expensive for a lot of things. Some of that is due to the fact that we have very high labour costs. And then, of course, everything's supposedly done properly, unless you're a person who owns a apartment in one of the Sydney towers or something, and it's all falling apart, and no one can do anything for you. Yeah, there's always something grabbing the cash. It's a real problem. Stuart, I would love to get a bank loan and just buy the place outright. I need about 180 Australian thousand, I'd say, for that. But the trouble is, I don't have enough savings. I would need, let's say, 40,000 would be a good starting point. 50 would be ideal. You see, that's where the issue lies: is that trying to come save up 50,000 when everything is taking 2,000, 3,000 here. It's rather tricky, and a lot of this stems from the fact that there were some poor choices made in my earlier years, and even though I've now resolve those choices for the most part, the legacy of them is this situation that I'm in here right now. Oh, you know Townsville? Okay, yeah. So, yeah, we're inland from Townsville. I think, was that for the Yassi cyclone that you were up there for, the recovery? Yeah, that looks pretty happy. I suppose we should test it, see if it even works. And to which point I have to, let's see, just get myself a suitable motherboard. I need a 165 or a 3437. Geez, YouTube's algorithm's been a bit nasty. Let's no, that's an 11-inch. That's no good for us. These are all boards that I have that are working, been repaired. Okay, this is a 165. That should suffice for the task. I'm getting a few too many of them, so I'm starting to think maybe I should just sell them off on eBay or something. But then, of course, I worry about the scammers, and I go back to not doing anything. And the Innisfail and Rocky Cycle, yeah, we fortunately haven't had any profoundly catastrophic ones. I mean, there's been some real train wrecks, but we haven't had anything like Tracy or Althea for quite a while, thankfully. Although I suspect a lot of that is because of the improved building standards and the awareness campaigns. It's certainly very hard to have a cyclone creep up on you nowadays. The UV cure thing, this is all it is. There's just a gooseneck assembly and just powered by USB. I got it on eBay, obviously. Right. I need my MagSafe 2. see if this works. Look at the output. Oh, helps if you turn on the power supply. Oh, there we go. So that's all good. We've got the fan spin. Everybody's happy. I'll plug in a USB drive just to 100% verify that. Ooh, fancy. 500 gig one. Shouldn't leave that lying around. Okay, we've got the green flashing. That means the CPU's alive and well. So we're all good. Another DC inboard save for the day. Okay. What have we got for time? Okay, looks like I'm going to have to unfortunately finish up here because I've got to go and give Micro his insulin. Okay, what have I got anyway? 3437, 3437, 3437. Okay, so I got a bunch of 3437s and one 165, a bunch of 3115s. And what is this one? 3435 or something like that. There, it's an 11-inch one. Okay, I should stack them like this. So yeah, getting a bit numerous there. Really only need one or two examples of each. Yeah, I do like the term fur kids. I mean, they are my kids, pretty much. I mean, it's like I do everything I can for them. See, Southern Wonder, did you choose this line of work or did you kind of fall into it? I would say I predominantly fell into it. And that started a long time back. I think by the time I was 5 or 6, I was already getting up to strife with electronics and this sort of work. I did miss my start with electronics at an early age of, say, like 8. One of my family members tried to introduce me into things like the radios and stuff like that. But at that time I was more interested in Legos and just all the electrical Legos too. Not that there was much at that time, because that was like late 70s. So you pretty much just had your batteries, motors and lights. That was it for Lego. But the real kick was when my neighbor had a computer and I just got addicted to that thing and I ended up having to be prized off that. Most days I'd be sent home from the neighbors. I think they complained to my parents, and understandably so. But managed to save up $99, I think it would have been back in 84 or something like that. Bought myself my first Z80 computer, and it sort of just all went on from there. Did a lot of electronics, but back then when I was doing electronics it was more just a case of I was just putting together kits. I didn't truly understand what I was doing or what I was trying to diagnose or anything like that. It was more just doing it by route. Then doing electronics repairs and developments of this sort of thing has only been in the last 10 years or so. So it's a fairly recent thing. But computers, programming and stuff like that, that goes back way, way back. So that's like 30 years now, easily, or more than that. Starting to forget. So, yeah, it's just something that I had a natural affinity for, it seems. Hey, Gasman44, hey, Shad. We have a King Charles Cavalier. We had a few of those up the road here. We almost got a pair ourselves, but things happened on the last day and we just didn't go with it. But yeah, we've seen a few of those around. Let's see, Stuart. Any tips for a 1278, 2879? I don't even know that one off the top of my head. The best areas, look for charger getting green light. Charger gets a green light and not charging the battery, but works perfectly by the battery. Would that be ISL let me look up the board. Let's see. 2879. Oh yeah, such a thing exists after all. I'm trying to think which chip is the one I want. I don't know this board very well off the top of my head. It's probably U7000. Oh, here we go. Now this will help me. ISL 6259. That's the one I'm after. U7000. I was close. Yeah, let's go next. It could be a bad battery for all you know. Bad battery, bad SMC, bad I2C lines. When you boot, does it show up the battery or any status on the battery, anything like that? And yeah, as Pianov has just asked, does it work without a battery? So did an electrical apprenticeship and then electrical degree with Nissan Motor. Oh, cool. 1978. Work mainly with high power electronics. That stuff just scares the dillies out of me. I can barely handle dealing anything with the 240 volts around here. I'm pretty much glove up, double glove up, and power up everything, and paranoid about that stuff. That actually probably makes things worse for me. Show status fine. Won't boot without the battery, even though there's a green light. Okay, won't boot without battery. Well, you could try your ISL. Yeah, it's trying to think. It's almost like you're not generating PP bus G3 hot out of here. Maybe you blew your fuse. 7040. Oh, I don't know. No, that shouldn't be possible because it comes out of the battery there anyway. Yeah, can't think of anything off the top of my head. Hey, Steve Abraham, good to see you. Water cooled 1000 amp Skyracks or something I've learned to respect quickly. Yeah, I can imagine. Do you do much with IGBTs at this point? Or is that still a bit too new, so to speak? I do love these new high voltage DC transmission systems, you know, like the 100,000 or 1 million volt type systems. We'll give it a go, but it's got to be something around there, because that's a little weird. But it's certainly where I'll be looking. The other thing you might could be D7005 maybe. Check your voltages on your U7000. Make sure you're getting what you should be getting, and yeah, there could be. It's really tricky to say with these things. I'd certainly be looking around that area though. I wouldn't mind actually getting qualified to work on household electrics, simply because, one, it would give me the proper teaching of how to handle the electrics rather than just simply thinking I know what I might be doing. And two, because, well, then it saves me having to call an electrician all the time. So that'd be, because I mean, yeah, electricians do cost a decent amount of money. I think we've spent about 4,000 or 5,000 in electricals around here. And it's very hard to get an electrician out here on a quick time scale because there's not enough of them. And so obviously they can charge a good rate and good on them. But I wouldn't go into the business myself because as far as I'm concerned, I think being an electrician is not too far off being a plumber in the sense that you're going to have to go through all sorts of horrible crawl spaces, deal with people's stuff. Yeah, so it's bad enough pulling open MacBooks and finding bugs all through them. So yeah. Thank you, Vixen Things. I appreciate you saying that. All right. Still using water-cooled ignition ignitron valves. I don't know what ignitron valves are. That's the other thing. Valves and things like that. I know a lot of people get nostalgic about those, but for some reason they irk me in a very weird way. I don't know what it is, but like the sound of a valve radio combined with the smell of the warming Bakelite and things like that, it it's like a personal hell for me for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe a vintage radio tried to squash me one day as a kid when I was 5 years old or something. I just don't know. But though I will say that one of my neighbours, they had one of those full size entertainment units, and it had that orange yellow glow. It would run all day, and it would always have this strange whine about it going on, and the channel would be. It was just weird, and I think it just spooked me out because it was on the underside of their house, and there was no one ever there, but this radio was always running. So maybe that's it. Maybe it's horror story stuff, spooks. So I teach at the local TAFE college, Transformers AC/DC machines, and licensing for electrical contracts and workers. Oh, cool. Is there a course that TAFE offers that allows you then to be, that you're ticketed to be able to work on household electrics, or is that's not a thing? Okay. I'm into ham radio. Built a 2 kilowatt RF linear amp. Very high voltage on the anodes. Okay, so you're dealing with valves again. Yeah, RF stuff really is like black magic to me. I did FM radios, things like that, the little transmitters and stuff like that as a kid, as most of us did. But beyond that, it just I couldn't grasp it in my head well enough. Particularly when doing multi-stage amplifier sections or multi-stage filter sections. Now I know the math behind them, but I still can't grasp it and actually turn it into a design or anything like that. But give me the computing stuff and I'll do that all day. But RF stuff, black magic, you guys are little wizards when you do that stuff, so I'll leave it to you. Alright, it's getting late. It is 10 o'clock. I've got to go give micros insulin. It's not super critical, but it is good that I get within the half hour of the 12-hour window. So thank you all for watching. Sorry it wasn't overly an exciting stream. I just had to get that iPad out of here. And it was good to try and fix up that DCN board. At least I've got one more spare that I know works, so that makes it easier for diagnosing things later. Anyway, you all take care. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe and share, do whatever, yell at me, I don't care. I'll see you on the next stream. See ya.